Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Mixers Review. Like every other week, what we do here is we, mix up a couple of recipes from one mixer, and we talk about those recipes to try and find, some of the bangers that they have, and potentially look at some of the recipes a little bit closer to see, if there was something that we wanted to change in them to suit our personal taste a little bit better. But in this week, we're going to be talking about MrBurgundy. All right. And I'll kick this off. The first recipe I want to talk about is milk is a rare choice. Okay. This recipe contains 2% TFA Bavarian cream, 1.5% FLV cream or Flavora cream, 0.75 dragon fruit, 0.5 meringue, 2.5 TFA strawberry, 2.5 jungle flavors, sweet strawberry, and 2% TFA vanilla ice cream. Okay. So what MrBurgundy is saying is this is a strawberry milk recipe with an emphasis on the milk. It's full and round in the mouth. The cream is thick and sweet. The strawberry is mellow yet present. Okay. I agree with everything there, except the sweet part, I didn't get it to be that sweet. However, if you look at the cream base that he used here, I mean, this is pretty cream heavy, man. Look at this. This is talking about 2% Bavarian cream, 1.5% FLV cream, then 0.5% meringue. I guess you can use that. You can talk about that as part of the cream body, right? And then 2% vanilla bean ice cream. That's a lot of creams, and that's why the strawberry is a little bit pulled back. So you can see what MrBurgundy did here is he added 0.75 TFA dragon fruit to try and pull that strawberry a little bit forward again. Okay, because that round base that he was building, that thick body that he was building, was starting to mute the strawberries. I mean, his selection of strawberries are pretty good. I mean, these are some of my favorite strawberries. It's 2.5% TFA strawberry and 2.5% jungle flavors sweet strawberry. Now, I mean, I wouldn't say this is a match made in heaven, but these are my two of my more favorite strawberries out there. Okay. The strawberries kind of sit in the mix nicely, so it blends in the mix, which is what a strawberry milk needs to do. You need an emphasis on that dairy, and then you need the strawberry notes around it. So you almost need to have like a strong dairy note, and something to the strawberries to complement it. So you can't actually have a strawberry that sits right at the top like a strawberry ripe, or something very strong. Excuse me, guys. So yeah, I think he did that very well. The TFA dragon fruit to try and bring the strawberries a little bit forward because there's a lot of creams used here. And then I come to, will I mix this again? Yes, I'll mix this again, but I'll sweeten it a little bit just for personal taste. My rating for this recipe is about a 3 out of 5. Yeah, that's what I got to say about this recipe. Then, so I'm kind of done with strawberry creams. This is the last strawberry cream that I will mix up in this show. I'm just saying that I'm going to do everything possible to just not mix up another strawberry cream. I've overdone this profile for myself, and it was nice like 2 weeks ago, but last week I was kind of okay, cool. I'm getting back into this, and this week I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. But and that kind of potentially influenced me a little bit, in these ratings. So just consider that. The next one I want to talk about is Moo Meadows. This one was mixed up for Remix Month. Now, apparently, Moo Meadows, or this is a popular commercial juice in the States, or wherever MrBurgundy is. I'm just assuming he's in the States. But it's a combination of ripe strawberries and fresh thick cream. Okay, now I mixed this up and I spun it up for 4 days. Now, generally, if I have a 14-day steep time, and the same goes actually for Milk Was a Rad Choice. This is a 14-day steep time. I need about 3.5 to 4 days for spinning it up, and then time for it to just rest as well, maybe another day. But with this one here, I was getting, that thick cream that he was talking about. I think it could be thicker. It wasn't too, but I mean, the cream note is there, and I get that. The problem for me here was this combination of strawberries. So TFA strawberry ripe and cap sweet strawberry, a 2-to-1 ratio on that. I've seen this strawberry combination used in other places, but for me, I don't enjoy this one too much. I think TFA strawberry on its own would have worked well here to create, with sweet strawberry, an authentic strawberry that sits on the creams, and potentially might give this whole recipe shorter steep time, because at the moment it just feels like something is fighting for me a little bit in this recipe. But just consider that I've spun it up for 4 days and I've left it for like a half a day. So generally that's enough time. I've also added in a little bit of heat, as I go. And generally this should give me about 80% steeped, 80% steeped version of this juice that will give me an indication of where it's going to go, and I tasted all the way through, and till now these strawberries are still, it's clashing for me. Something is not working well, and I'm not 100% sure why. Let's talk about what's in the recipe. And it's very simple. It's 1.5% FA cream fresh, 1% marshmallow, 1% meringue. So I can't see anything wrong with that, right? I can't see anything wrong with FA cream fresh, FA marshmallow, FA meringue. Those are things that I use all the time. FA marshmallow, not that much. But, combining those together, I can't see that there'll be any clashes. That would be a nice creamy base to work with. So, meringue and marshmallow was used to thicken out FA fresh cream. That's what it is, right? But
did you use it at those percentages?
I might have gone a little bit harder with the cream fresh. I might have bumped it up a little bit, to 2%. But 1% marshmallow, 1% meringue is what I use it at. So yeah, I think you can say I would probably use it at the same. If I had to be, had to create something like this. But and then the strawberries here is 4% strawberry ripe and 2% sweet strawberry. And I'm not sure about the strawberry combination. It wasn't something that I'm going to be mixing up again. But yeah, I wanted to talk about my favorite strawberry milk now that I'm kind of finishing off with strawberry milks, for a while. So that is Boog and Shizzle's One Milk to Rule Them All. Okay. Now, and DT, you will agree with me here, and MrBurgundy, you won't agree with me here. But MrBurgundy talks about, I think it is, in the write-up of Moo Meadows, he goes on and talks about shisha strawberry not being that great, okay? But here in this one milk to rule them all by Burgundy, he uses 1% FA cream, 0.2% dairy milk. I love that stuff, by the way. 1.7% on the meringue, so it goes a little bit higher. And then he uses 2% shisha strawberry and 4% strawberry ripe. So very similar, very similar recipe, but this one here by Boog and Shizzle for me was just 100%, sweet strawberry milk. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to chat about from a strawberry milk perspective. What did you find, Dietz, on your side?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the Moo Meadows, seeing as that's the one you're ending on. Pretty much all the notes, same as you. I personally think the marshmallow or maybe the meringue, one of the two can go down a little bit, because if you sit and you vape it for a while, it tends to do something to the recipe, which I can't really explain, but it just puts it off for me a little bit on the strawberry profile. Now, I agree with you definitely on the strawberry shisha. That is, for me, one of the best if you are looking for a sweet, syrupy, anything, whether it's dessert, sweets, candies. I've worked it into almost anything, and it works. Obviously not alone, but it definitely works for me, and it would have worked here. With that said, this recipe definitely, I feel it has a clean cream, like a nice cream. It could be a little bit thicker, maybe. That could be arguable, but it's definitely a clean whipped cream almost. But with clean, I mean a light, clean, white, with a very light strawberry. It's not to me, it's not that sweet strawberry milk, but it's a whipped strawberry cream. So it's definitely, but it's a clean cream to me. So I do like it, but the strawberry definitely you could work on that a little bit for me. I did a 7-day between spinning normally for about, I would say, 8 to 12 hours, then take it off for about 6 and continue like that for about 7 days. So I found after the 3rd day, the strawberry started backing off a little bit in the sense of it was a bit harsh or sharp. It blended a bit better with the creams after 3 days, or the third to fourth day. The strawberry does ripen into the cream, making it a more strawberry dominant cream, where initially it's a bit of a light strawberry cream or light strawberry. Let's call it a light strawberry cream, but the sweetness is a bit lacking for me in this one. So I would probably mix this again, but not exactly as this recipe is. I would amend it specifically on the strawberry profile, and I would definitely work in strawberry shisha, because I want that sweetness, and that gives that syrupy note for me. So on the MrBurgundy, look, it's a good cream. It's a solid strawberry cream. I don't really have any deeper notes than what you mentioned and what I have. So that's my notes for the Moo Meadows. And then I also did the Fuki Berry. And I like this type of recipe. When I see strawberry and kiwi, I get excited. It's a good recipe. I like it. But again, for me, I feel there could be work done on the strawberry. The marshmallow, if I mix it again, I would drop out the marshmallow and probably sub it with cream fresh, because when I use sweet strawberry, I feel you are getting a fuller potential from this shisha strawberry when you use a cream fresh. Not at high percentages, maybe 0.5%. Exactly where this marshmallow is at 0.5%, I would put the cream fresh. That should already make it. Sorry.
What is this? Sorry for interrupt. What's in this recipe?
Sorry, I didn't mention the amounts. All right, let me go back to that. So for Fuki Berry, I've got 1% FA Fuji, 2% FA Kiwi, 0.5% FA Marshmallow, and then 1.5% Shisha Strawberry.
Okay, so he does use Shisha Strawberry in this recipe here. So he's not a super hater, he.
I wouldn't say so, and I would actually agree with him. he does say, I've been trying to find a use for Nuera Shisha strawberry because I don't usually like to use it. I could come up with anything for the syrup flavor it has going on until now. So I agree with him. It definitely, if you use it in the right recipes, it can work. But for this recipe, I would have definitely changed out the marshmallow for cream fresh, specifically to bring out that shisha strawberries syrupy. It's kind of like a cooked syrup note. I wouldn't call it a burnt sugar or even a caramelized sugar. It's just it's a cooked syrup, and that kind of develops or opens up the sweetness, the syrupiness it brings in. The kiwi, I also felt maybe it was a bit too much. That might just be my opinion because I tasted it every day for I think 4 days. Yeah, this one was only on for 4 days. The kiwi initially gave me a very earthy note, and that it's I would call for summer, but then you need to add in something a bit more vibrant. The kiwi brings it down. Earthy note is basically what I can put it to. It's not a bad recipe at all, but I would work on the profiles to complement the kiwi and the shisha a bit. The Fuji is definitely there, but I would maybe kick the Fuji up a little bit, maybe 0.5%. That's my notes on the Fuki berry.
Just in terms of the shisha strawberry, I tried making Wayne's strawberry jam monster clone recently, subbing out, I think it's RF strawberry that he uses in there for shisha, and that didn't work at all. I thought it would actually work quite nicely because, if you're going for a strawberry jam, you'd think anywhere a shisha would be a good match, but it doesn't work as well as Wayne's recipe does. Okay, for my two, I could have talked for an hour about St. Louis butter cake, which is one of MrBurgundy's and which is one of my favorite bakeries of all time. But I've already talked about that on previous shows, so I mixed up two different ones. I'll start with the strawberry one. I went for his pinky, which he says that he hasn't done many public recipes lately, so he did this strawberry ice cream just to get himself back into gear. Very, very simple mix, as many of MrBurgundy's frequently are. It's Hankson French vanilla ice cream, FA meringue, TFA strawberry cap, sweet strawberry, TFA vanilla bean ice cream, and sweetened with a little bit of cap super sweet. This is a very simple and easy recipe. The Hankson French vanilla ice cream is probably the only flavor that most, or that not that many DIYers might have, but the rest are all absolute staples, so it should be very easy to whip this up. Unlike Theo, I don't vape strawberry creams or ice creams or shakes a lot. For me, it's a very occasional mix. I haven't been vaped out on strawberry creams yet, so I found this quite a nice surprise. The one thing I found when I mixed up God Milk, Skittles' God Milk, is that the longer I left it, the better it became. And it's generally a principle that I've now come to apply to almost all strawberry creams. I know it's an ongoing theme with me, but the longer the steep, the better. With strawberry mixes, and particularly those that use TFA strawberry, I find them to be quite harsh and sort of dirty for the first week or 10 days or 2 weeks. Thereafter, they blend out a bit, become better. But where they really come into their own is after about 7 weeks, 8 weeks. Then the strawberries just sit down beautifully in the creams, and you get this really rich, luscious, velvety strawberry cream type mix. Now, with this pinky mix of MrBurgundy's, I gave it a 9-day steep. And already I'm getting the feeling that this is going to, much like God Milk, just get better and better. What I like about this is the balance between the strawberry top note and the ice cream base. The strawberry doesn't dominate, but it's not swallowed up by those those creams either. It's a classic ice cream mix, vanilla bean ice cream with Hankston French vanilla ice cream in it, which makes a very nice, rich, buttery sort of ice cream. The other notable thing about this is that the butter note comes out probably more than the dairy note does. As he says here, 3% TFA Vibic, 1% Hankston F-Vic, and 0.5% FA meringue creates a rich and buttery ice cream base. And that's the key for me, is that this is buttery rather than dairy. Now, butter and strawberry might not sound like a particularly appealing mix, but this works well for me. Is it better than God Milk and Quick and Rose Milk and Daniel's The Juice? No. Would I expect it to be better than those? No. It's a strawberry cream. It's something that you whip up quickly, and then in my case, leave it for 4 months, and then you vape it. But as somebody who doesn't do strawberry creams, yeah, I mean, God Milk at 4 months was godly. It was just astonishingly good. This won't last 4 months because I'm into it now, so I'll probably finish it within the next few days. But I'll probably mix up another batch of this and then just put it to the back of my steeping cupboard and just leave it until it attains that absolutely velvety 25-year-old single malt Scotch sort of smoothness and creaminess that I'm looking for in a juice. I mean, it's not a particularly, it's a pretty clear mix, but I have the feeling that this one will steep well. Very nice balance between top note and cream. I also quite like this TFA strawberry cap sweet strawberry mix. It's one of the better strawberry combos for me. It's very common. A whole lot of people use it, and there's a reason for that. It works really well. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not the world's biggest strawberry milk or strawberry cream fan, but this one works quite well for me. I think partly because I vape it quite rarely. So, it's something that that my palate has not become tired of. So, yeah, I'd give that a recommend. I mean, it's not going to take the place of God Milk or the other top line strawberry creams, but it's a very capable and tasty strawberry cream. Then the second one that I tried is his Who's the Goose. This recipe has quite a backstory behind it. What if Mr. Burgundy's favorite recipe, is probably his signature recipe, was his toasted, which started out life as a cinnamon toast crunch and then morphed into a cinnamon cornflakes with milk. And he then replaced the cinnamon with various other top notes. He did a banana one, he did an apple one, he also did a strawberry one. This is his kiwi fruit variant. Now, I'm quite wary about kiwi fruit recipes. It's not my favorite fruit flavor. Kiwi gets quite funky quite quickly, in my view. And as Diet said, it can get quite harsh and earthy. So I enjoyed the original recipe, the toasted, the cinnamon cornflakes with milk. So I thought, well, kiwi is going to be quite interesting as an addition to that, dropping the cinnamon and adding kiwi instead. So I mixed this up. Similar to the pinky, there's a very good balance between that kiwi top note and the underlying cinnamon and milk base. Let me just outline the ingredients for you quickly. It's cap cereal 27 with TFA graham cracker clear and 0.5% TFA toasted marshmallow. The milk base comes from the FA cream fresh and TFA meringue with marshmallow adding a bit there as well. So again, pretty standard ingredients, fairly simple staples that almost everybody should have. And then just 4% FA kiwi layered on top of that as a top note. As he explains, the FA kiwi isn't very strong, so you had to push it up to 4%. He says 4% carries through the cream and competes with the cereal, which I think is a very apt description, because again, the top note and the base are balanced quite well. Neither one dominates the other. What I have found with this, though, is it's the layering comes in terms of the time, not in terms of the flavor strength. So what happens is on the inhale, And the very first part of the exhale, you get that quite trademark kiwi note. And then as the exhale carries on, that more crunchy, grainy cereal note comes through. So it replicates pretty much what you would get from eating a spoonful of kiwi cereal. You taste the kiwi first, and the cereal and the milk sort of take over from that on the exhale, and that's what you're left with, is that quite cornflakey sort of cereal note is what remains after the exhale is finished. It works. It hangs together quite well. There are no off notes or anything that I would change with this. Just as is often the case with random recipes that I try, I just don't know whether I want to be vaping a kiwi cereal, because it's not something that I'd eat in real life. It's not a profile that I'm really after. But as far as how this mix goes and how it hangs together, if you like cereal vapes and have never tried something with a kiwi and it sounds intriguing to you, by all means mix this up. It's a well-crafted recipe. It hangs together nicely. There's a good balance between the different elements. An interesting vape experience with the kiwi on the inhale giving way to the cereal milk on the exhale. So generally a good recipe. I probably won't mix this too often, but maybe once a year or once every 6 months, I'll just mix up myself a 30 ml, because I find it quite pleasant. It's not something I'd have as an all-day vape, or that I could vape constantly, but just as a change of scene from my usual bakeries, this works really well for me.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to let this Moo Meadows, chill out for a little while and report back on it. Because, when I say generally, I, get to a pretty complete stage of steep completeness after 4 days of spinning it up. That doesn't work for every single thing, so I'm going to let this sit and then report back if it changes. Like Richard said, give it some more time and see for that strawberry to just mellow out a little bit, become more silky. So I'll report back on that. But yeah,
Talking
definitely.
Of silky, talking of silky and extra steep time, I've still been vaping Silky's French Toast, which we reviewed a couple of weeks back. When I reviewed it, it wasn't fully steeped. It had very little body. The flavor was good, but it had very little body. And that extra 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever of steeping in between has just made this juice absolutely pop. It has now become one of my favorites. I'll be mixing this up as a staple in my rotation. Delicious flavor. It's gained a bit of body. And so just a general tip there. If a juice isn't working for you initially, maybe leave it for another 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, I need to get the patience.
I also agree on the Moo Meadows. I definitely want to give it the full 14 days and see if something maybe magically happens. Maybe there's something I'm missing, because I've also I've never waited 4 months for anything to steep. So your 18-month steep is like a legendary feat in my eyes.
We need to get a shirt for that. Just make it for Richard.
I've not done. I don't think I've done anything up to 4 months. So I would like to do the Moo Meadows a bit longer. That's the color, yes.
There's an FA tobacco. Guess when I mixed this?
8 months ago.
2nd of February 2017.
See, for me, I start culling after 4 months, even less, 3 months. I start culling. You know what I mean?
The profile doesn't change, then I also cull. I just have one note back to the Fukiberry. Something I forgot to mention was where I said I would sub the marshmallow with cream fresh. There's something else that I've learned, specifically working with kiwi and strawberry. Look, the strawberry I would still work on, because I like to work with multiple strawberries. I like Shisha strawberry, Capella's sweet strawberry, and I think the normal TFA strawberry. I like all three of them, sometimes in combination, depending what I'm going for. So the strawberry profile I would have worked on. But I think he mentions here that the shisha strawberry, the syrupy note, is what's pulling together the profile. That candied strawberry at the bottom. Now, I think what I maybe would have also done differently, specifically for the kiwi. Look, Fuji on its own is a very, very sharp flavor to work with, or strong, very strong flavor. So it can work at lower percentages, but also I've had it at lower percentages where it took over the whole recipe. For Fuji kiwi specifically, to get that kiwi to bind better, I would use 0.25 to 0.5% of dragon fruit, or something I learned very recently from Mr. ID10T's recipes is use maybe a little bit of peach juicy or juicy peach.
Mm.
That works wonders with fruit recipes, very much like what Cream Fresh does when you want to bring a maybe a soft strawberry profile. You want to make it pop a little bit more. Add a little bit of Cream Fresh. In this case, if I'm working with mainly fruits without any creams in it, and I want it to be more of a merged, or the flavors has binded better, then I use dragon fruit, which everyone knows. But peach juicy does something really amazing without noticing the peach. And the same way that you won't notice the dragon fruit, it just binds everything and makes that one new flavor that you're looking for. So that's maybe something I would have tried in this.
Yeah, I normally reach for cactus in that scenario. You know
Definitely too. Look, my main additives, most of my mixes I mix personally for me is fruits, and then I've got the tobaccos with my high nicotine. But everything is fruits, or very, very sharp, lemony, citrus, very vibrant flavors. So most of what I mix is fruits, and I don't like to work with the creams in the middle. Some of them have cream, some of them have not, or does not have, but most of them have a base of, if it's purely fruits, it starts with a base of a little bit of cream fresh and cactus. Or if there's no cream fresh, it always has cactus, depending that wet fuel what you want. Also, cactus can ruin a recipe. I mean, try that at 4%.
No,
it's not something that I enjoyed very much. But when I bought it the first time, 4% cactus, I was like, whoa, this is not what I expected. It later became the way I use my cream fresh, my super sweet, the WS, all of that, I use it as additives, 0.25% to 0.5%. And in the same way now, peach juicy has become part of my additives. So you can do wonders with very small amounts of something you would never expect, like cactus and now peach juicy. So definitely good additives with fruity recipes.
So is it juicy peach or peach juicy? Which flavor house?
Well, I've seen it. Look, I buy from Black Vapor, and they've labeled as both. It said peach in brackets juicy, and the other time I received it, it was juicy peach.
But from what flavor house is it?
At the moment, let me quickly check here. At the moment,
it's TFA.
TFA. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, TFA juicy peach. So I think it's called juicy peach internationally. I'm not really sure. I can't confirm.
No, that's cool.
But that is
it's peach juicy.
Really,
peach juicy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a special line. They had pineapple juicy as well. It's the alternatives to peach and pineapple. To the TFA peach and pineapple.
Okay. Now, where I would say when to decide when to use peach juicy and when to use dragon fruit to give you that better flavor, it would depend on whether you're making a juice or a candy. I would say for candies, definitely the peach juicy or juicy peach, go that route. Or maybe a candy type sweet drink. And if you're going a fruit, maybe go for the dragon fruit. It just binds the flavors better without using that cream to cut the harshness and bind the flavors. That's what I found with, like I said, that's additives is almost in everything fruit wise. And cactus, yes, again, one of them. I love the cactus especially watermelon. Works well.
Okay, guys. So that pretty much wraps up the the mixes review. Thank you, Mr. Burgundy, for all your recipes. I'm going to be mixing up that butter cake, right? Richard, it's the butter cake recipe.
Yeah. St. Louis butter cake is
'Cause-
Burgundy's best recipe ever.
yeah, because I mean that's trending right now. Everybody is mixing it up, and I mean just in a local South African WhatsApp group, somebody asked what flavored dessert to mix up, and there was four recommendations to mix up St. Louis butter cake. So I'm definitely going to mix that up and let it steep. I'm not big on bakeries, but I think I'll give this one a go just because of all the recommendations.
I've attempted it twice, and rule number 1 slammed me very hard.
What flavor do you not have there? The powdered sugar?
Well, at different times, different things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was. It's always with me. Rule number 1 in almost everything. And now I choose the recipe and I just go buy what I need instead of wondering if I still have some.
There's mine.
Yeah.
That is a good looking.
Ah, this is so good. And sweet. You will like this if you like sweet juices there. I mean,
Okay.
he only put in 0.25 super sweet. And with that, it's like syrupy, sickly, sugary sweet. But St. Louis butter cake is a very sweet food stuff.
Yeah.
So he said
Have
he
you
was
guys-
aiming.
Yeah.
He was
Have you
aiming
ever had I forgot. It's a French fry or cereal. What was that juice? The Hype, Drip the Hype. I think it's pancakes and syrup or something like that. Okay. All right. Anyway, I thought it was similar if you tested it.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Mr. Burgundy, for putting out these recipes for us to mix up. Really had fun doing that. Keep on doing it. And thanks for everybody watching. Please remember to comment if there's anything you are unsure about that we spoke about, and we'll get back to you. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.